Not a huge deal. However, we're going to go over it and then move on. If you want to check your answers after you have this done, go watch the video. This is recording the answers right now. So all of the answers for the homework are in my recording, and then I will go over whatever. Right? I will go over whatever we need to. But first, I'm going to try to work some magic on Vincent's backpack. You should not be copying answers. If you need help, try to go the other way first. If you need help, I want to help you. It's always, don't keep trying to force it the way it's jammed. Go back the other way. Then I've worked a lot of zippers. I used to be a summer camp counselor, so if you guys didn't know that, I've pulled out more splinters than I would ever like to pull out. I've unjammed a bajillion backpacks. Because kids at summer camp opening backpacks are always trying to move too quickly and something gets caught. Like the jacket that we told them they had to bring even though it's the middle of summer. So, 6:17. I already did part A with the other class, so I kind of want to go over part B with you guys. What they have here is everything on the mat. They did not make their zeros yet. If we start by making zeros, we will not write all of that down. So here's what I mean. So remember this, you should have these like 3 things that we can do at the top of 612. So if we look at B, and we look to make zeros, I'm trying to get it to focus. I'm going to use red to make my zeros. Positive, negative ones, that would be 0. So I'm slashing it out. Like I'm not saying that's 1, I'm slashing it. You guys know I make my ones fancy. These opposites. And there's no more zeros. Over here, 0 right off the bat. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. Positive, negative. This guy's kind of weird. Here's my suggestion. If you're drawing this, did I goof something up? I got hands up. Oh, another X. Yeah, sorry, my brain was... So, hold on. Y'all are awesome. It's just overwhelming when you all, like, jump at me at the same time. So, yes, over here. Good catch. Over here. This. And then this is weird because this guy's really far away. Here's how I'm going to show that. If I take you out and take you out, that's allowed because I made a 0. So it's like taking them off my mat. Now, if we actually had these, we could move the tiles to next to each other. If we actually had them. But now, my left side is 3 X's and 2. My right side, sorry, this arrow is kind of getting in my way. It has nothing to do with what I'm about to write. My right side is 3 X's. Right, 1, 2, 3, and 2. Yeah, Antonella, nice flex. They're the same. We don't have to do anything else to know that they're the same. Equal. They are equal. Now, Mat A, especially since I'm recording, I might as well just slide over and show the work from my Mat A. Mat A, I end up taking 2 X's off of both sides. That'll do the same thing to both sides. And that's how I end up at 1 is less than 2. But guys, if you don't know how to do that, you need to come get help from me. Other questions? We will for sure go over the graphing question when we get to the back. Mia? 18. Look at how perfect my rectangle is. Yeah, I cheated and I used a shape template. So, I could either draw it horizontally. Guys, another reminder. If you haven't tried this on your own, the only person suffering is you. And me, because it like hurts when you guys can't carve out like 10 or 15 minutes to try your homework on your own. If you're copying things down right now and you never tried this on your own, you're not letting yourself figure out, do I know what I'm doing? You have to change your behavior. If you ever want to feel better about something, you have to change something. So if you aren't taking time to try your homework on your own, you have to fix that. I can't fix that. You got to fix it. Mr. Estes is going to be at school tomorrow from 8 a.m. till noon. If you need to come into school to do work, talk with your advisor. You're allowed to come in and do work. But if you can't find time on your own to do your homework, you need to. You have to. Either here or at home. So I can either x by 4x, or I can go x down here, 4x on this side, right? Depending on how you draw it is going to change your answer for B. You might be saying the height is 4 times the base. You might be saying the base is 4 times the height. You might be saying the height is 1/4 of the base. Or you might be saying the base is 1/4 of the height. It all depends on how you draw it. It all depends on how we draw it. Then, can I add up x's for the perimeter? Yeah, they're like terms. X, x, 4x, and 4x are all like terms. What is 1 plus 1 plus 4 plus 4? 10. So we get 10x. If they tell us the perimeter is 60, then how do I go from 10x to a single x? Divide by 10. Questions? Guys, you know if I'm talking to you. If you are not carving out time to do homework on your own, it shows on the masteries. There's no way to master something if we've never tried it on our own. It's like somebody saying, hey, go take your driver's test. Do you think you would go take your driver's test right now? Do you think you could pass? 4-point turn, parallel parking, proper lane changes. You think you'd pass? No. You've never tried it on your own. That's why you get a permit. Your permit is when you're progressing. Seriously, legit. That's how it's set up. We know you're progressing at driving. I know you could get behind a wheel and be like, oh, turn right, turn left, gas, brake. Like, you could do some of it, but you're not mastered yet. Some of you need to come into school tomorrow or hold yourself more accountable. On the back, check A, B, C, D, E. I think this is supposed to say F. I don't know why it doesn't. I think it's just a typo. Those equations on the back are all about order of operations. If you got a part of 19 wrong, you need to retry it. You need to look at what order did I mess up. So, like, I will give you A as an example done for you. I'm not doing any of the other ones. You can come and see me to ask me a question. I got too many people playing the copy game. 5 squared. If we look at 19a, 5 squared is 5 times 5, not 5 times 2. If it was 5 times 2, they would say 5 times 2. So 5 squared is 25. If you're making mistakes, you better be writing this down on your paper because it's your reminder of what order to take. So if you don't have A done yet, you should be doing it with me right now. If you don't have A done or you didn't get negative 92, you should be doing it right now. After exponents comes multiplication. Now, why did I skip parentheses? These parentheses don't do anything. They're just grouping the negative 3. So that's why there is no parentheses step here. We jump right to exponents and to multiply, divide. Eve, I need your hood down to make sure that we can see. Same with Jesus, I need your hood down. Sorry, guys. We got kids like going through the school day with like most of their face covered and everything. I'm going to start to be a stickler about some things. Sorry. You can take it up with me privately if you want, but like if your teachers ask you like take off your coat, pull down your hood, whatever, like you need to listen. Most schools, you're not allowed to wear hats. So, I mean, first off, we give you a lot of freedom here. But I had to talk to one of my students. It's nobody in this class. The other day, I literally could not tell who they were walking through the family room. And what was my first, are you, is it a Perry kid, right? Lost and just trying to, sneak around and see Phoenix. I'll let anybody come walk around Phoenix, but with one of us, so we know who they are. I literally could not see the student's eyes. And I told them to turn around and still couldn't. All I could see was their mask and their hood. Looked like Cousin It. Then a lot of us did this wrong on the mastery, which the mastery follow-up. A negative number plus a negative number is not positive. If you owe me 75 assignments or homework problems, that would make more sense. And then you owe me another 24 homework problems. You actually owe me 99 homework problems. I got 99 problems. And they're all math. Right? So then if I do 7 problems, I now only have 92 problems. And that's moving in the right direction. Guys, even if you have 99 problems to do, you can do that. You can do that in a weekend. Some of you could do that in a day. If you really sit down and work at it. So, if you need more help on 19, use homework help. Come see me privately. We got AO today still happening. Check your other answers. Yeah, Farah. Yeah. 22 is a lesson in how America's broken and that we have to tip for positions that are a quote-unquote tippable position. You go to Europe or a different country, they don't tip. They don't, because they pay people an appropriate amount. The reason we tip is servers might only be making $3 an hour. I'm not joking. A server, the people bringing you your food, might only be making $3 an hour. Now, somebody in the other class is like, but wait, I thought there was minimum wage. That doesn't count for servers. A tippable position, they can ignore minimum wage. So if we're going to do a 15%, 15 over 100, if you haven't done this problem, you should be writing this down right now. 15% is 0.15. If you don't have this problem done, you should be writing this down right now. 0.15, so this 15% of, we multiply, and we just grab our calculator, and that's 411. But, if we're going to talk reality, most people tip 20%. Also because the math is easier. Here's why. And this is not the answer to your problem. This is just me teaching you about life. If your bill is $27.38, 10% of this, we've done this a lot. 10%, we divide by 10. 10% would be $2.73. Or if I round it, about $3. So, how do I find 20%? I double it. And I'm going to tip $6 because I'm going to be extra nice to that person because I know that they have a hard job. Lucas? 21? No. I'm sorry, but I need to see if you guys know how to do those things. So if you need help, check out the Homework Help website. If your answer's wrong, redo the problem. Be very careful about order of operations. I will do 21, though. 21, you could just call, what do we call a four-sided shape? Quadrilateral. You can just call it a quadrilateral. Technically, it's a parallelogram. Because I can check what we call a slope triangle here. And this is 2 over 4 up. Down here, from D to C, it's 2 over and 4 up. If you do not know how to draw axes and graph, I need to help you. That's my job. So likewise, I wasn't trying to be mean to Lucas, but if Lucas can't figure out D and what they did wrong, you need to come see me. Say, look, I've done this like 2 or 3 times. I keep getting the wrong answer. Show me where I'm going wrong. So remember, when we graph, X is our left or right. It's this axis. Y is our up or down. It's this axis. So the first number tells you left, right. The second number tells you up, down. Remaining questions about 21. That's everything I plan to go over today. If you haven't grabbed 614, get it from up front. It's on the thing, whatever you want to call that thing. If your 612 is done, turn it in. If it's not, you have work to do this weekend. If this homework is not done, you have work to do during AO or during this weekend. You took out 1 from both? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, 0 less than 1, that is the same thing. You are correct. Yes. For E or D? Well, that's just 4. You carried down a 7 when that's really just a 4. Yeah. Right? Kind of a silly mistake there, but that's okay because silly mistakes happen. All right, with your team, this is on your paper. This is on your paper. Look at 35. And I tried to structure your paper so you got some space under it. I want you to start talking about if this was on an algebra mat, right, the mats we've been using, what could we do on both sides to try to get us to just what 1x is? And not what it equals, because the symbol in between is not an equal symbol, but but work this to try to figure out how do we get x to what it is. And we'll do it together in just a second.
Supporting you learning how you should be? Probably not. So do we need to change something to address that? So can you see how like me calling your mom is not some sort of punishment or gotcha or anything like that? It's because we care about you and we want to address this. You got a 3-day weekend where you can make some really good choices. Or you can neglect your schoolwork and make some more bad choices. Which would be the better option? That's a hard thing for kids to do. So you need some adult support to get that to happen. Because do you feel comfortable in that? Well, I think you're letting yourself think that you know what you're doing. If I gave you a quiz on order of operations, would you be able to solve problems like this on your own? Well, have you been practicing it recently? So if we don't practice stuff, it goes away. So you're having to find a situation. I got kids who are 20 or 30 assignments behind. That's a really bad situation. You are just not keeping up with the work you should be. You need to address that. So it'll be okay. We'll move forward. You'll be fine. But I can tell that you're slipping along. Like from knowing what you're doing, you're slipping. On that mastery, you're getting out in a minute. I don't think you got to set the problem right. And that's really concerning. I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I'm just trying to say, like, it's concerning that it makes me go into a sort of activist meetings, like go Power Ranger, like it's me, the math teacher, so like we gotta do something, right? It's not saying anything bad about words. We need to practice. You gotta practice the smarts we want to do. So the other thing I'm worried about is you use your power, as I think you use this to avoid actually seeing. Please don't make me take your hat off. If I can't see your eyes, you probably can't see your eyes. So you need to adjust by sitting on your power on my head so you can see what we're doing. And use quit acting like you're writing on your paper when really you're coloring in the circles. Right? Please quit doing that. I need you doing math. We're together doing math. So we're going to do 35 now. And I can see you're writing down all the work and asking a question if it doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's because I stole it. And I'm probably going to give you mine that I wrote on in the last class, maybe. Well, but it's mine, so I don't think it counts as theft. You can go ahead. I don't know where my other copy is, so you can just have that. And if I don't, there's my other copy. If we put this problem on an expression map, I actually would not have a question mark in the middle because they tell me less than or equal to. So I changed my question mark to less than or equal to. Yeah. Ah, good call. We got to flip that. Good call. Can you guys see colors from out there? Okay, my screen, this screen, I can barely tell if I can see colors or not. So, my question to you is, what can we do on both sides of our mat? Marina, can you tell me something we could do on both sides of this? We could take 2 x's off both sides, so we write on our paper minus 2x on both sides. I gotta shut this because 8th grade's got their weird schedule. So I'm gonna take those 2 x's off both sides. Oh, wait, crap. Now I got nothing on the right side? Hope one of your cards gets drawn. Aiden, take the thunder away from them. What can we do now? I got nothing over here. I got variable and constant over here. If you want to pass, you can. Layla Graff? Not here. Vanessa? Davis? Jesus? Phone one of your friends there. I agree, but watch why. Eyes up here. Here's what we're actually gonna do. I want to get rid of this -1. I can drag it across the fence and it will flip over, but why that happens is I'm actually going to add 1 on this side to make a 0. But if I add 1 on this side, I got to add 1 on this side. And this 0 disappears. That's basically, as I just heard somebody say, that's basically this moving and flipping. But we can write it as +1 on each side. So what your paper should have written was a -2x on both sides. Then we're going to add 1 on both sides. That's why when we put the tile to the other side, it flips or becomes the opposite, now giving us x is less than or equal to 1. We're not going to get through this entire lesson today, so please don't freak out when we don't get this finished, because we also got to give you your mastery follow-up back, and if you did not turn in your mastery follow-up, you should try to get it in today, because I need to get it back to you on Tuesday so you can revise it if you need to. But if you turned it in yesterday, you'll get it back today. This can be graphed. Guys, I'm going to graph it again with you because the other group, we already did it. So, make a number line on your paper, but it doesn't have to have anything labeled on it yet. Make a quick number line. The number we end up with, that is going to be our boundary point. Boundary point is on your paper down here if you want to highlight it. Boundary point. So on the number line, we're going to put a 1. And we circle it because it's our boundary point. We don't just want the tick mark, we want a point, and we're going to make it look big. Which direction would I shade to show less than? You can shout it out.
An arrow to the left.
Left, right? So I'm going to squiggly. And then I put an arrow at the end of my squiggly to say it keeps going. But also, x is not just less than 1. X is less than or equal to. So to show that x is allowed to be equal to 1, how do I change what I've done over here? We shade in the circle to show that it's allowed to be equal. Questions there? We probably should get these back in your hands and discuss the common mistakes that I saw, because you need to revise these either today during AO or over the weekend. Guys, I'm going to be straight up with you. At this point in the year, your lame excuses, we just call out as lame excuses. If you come to school on Tuesday and say, I didn't have time, that's a lame excuse. You have 3 days over the weekend. You have AO today. You have time. So saying I didn't have time is a lame excuse. So, a lot of us are progressing. Literally, if you missed one problem, you're progressing. Because at this point, hey, if you're like arguing, how did I get this wrong? I'm going to tell you how you got it wrong. If you can't do it correctly, you're not mastered, right? We're at that point in the school year. So let's talk about the common mistakes I saw. And this is recorded, right? So if you want to go back and watch it this weekend, you can. One was very similar to the original test, but it was not identical. Some of you did the same, like if you got 70%, that was what we got on the original test. This is not 70%. Number 2, same story. It solves very similar to the original test, but it's not the same. The numbers are different. Number 3, I have to think I taught this a little bit better to you guys than the other class, because the other class still did really badly with number 3. It's on the dry erase board. So I'm going to walk this way to make your attention go this way. For compound probability, 2 or more things, we do not add. I literally said on here, does not add. We multiply the fractions. We multiply the one probability with the other probability. Why? Well, sorry. My bad. Word.
Oh, sorry.
Jeez, you made a mistake, Miss Martin.
No, Dennis.
If you did not get your follow-up back, you did not turn it in. So if you don't have a follow-up in front of you right now, you probably still have yours. Amanda, I have your original mastery, which because you were absent, I think we were just going to do this one, but here's that. But that was the original. But yeah, you're not the closure, but the follow-up. I don't know if you have the follow-up or not. So, if you goofed this up, you might want to make a note to yourself, multiply. Right? Multiply. And 4, people that got this wrong, you left me out. If you wrote A plus B plus C, come on. Yeah, that's mean. If you wrote A plus B plus C, that's Abby, Brad, and Chelsea. Where am I? You also need plus M. So if you ended up with like 3M, I probably circled it. It's not, you shouldn't have 3M. You should end up with 4M, and then you're solving with that, right? There should be 4M, because each of A, B, and C, each of these have an M in them. Lucas, did you leave me out?
No, I'm gonna guess these problems are actually like correct.
Oh yeah, that's our real ages. I am in my 30s. Now, I didn't have you guys be particular with the months, right? Like, I'm not doing like half ages and stuff like that. Because my sister, I'm born in April. My sister was born in August. So there's like a weird time of the year where she's only 2 years older than me. But normally,
Wait, so you're turning 33 years?
I don't know. You have to solve the math problem to figure it out.
There's like a few months during the year. Me and my sister.
John. Shh. Wait, he dies at the end of the movie. That's exactly what John just did. 3 times negative 18. Almost everybody got the multiplication right. Negative 54. Negative 67. If you owe me 54 homework problems, and you also owe me another 67 homework problems, do I all of a sudden owe you homework problems?
No, you all of a sudden kicked me out of school.
This is a negative answer. A bad guy plus a bad guy is a bigger bad guy. A debt plus another debt is a bigger debt. I dig a hole and I keep digging that hole. I go further down. The most missed problem of the test, so you should have your eyes on me. Over here, when we follow PEMDAS, we have to follow it twice. This set of parentheses happens first, but then people forgot there's also this set of parentheses. So, what is 15 plus 5? 20. But then we have, please stop. You're spoiling the movie and you're going to get kicked out. Then we have 5 minus 20. Guys, if you have $5 and you try to spend $20, are you going to have money left over? I mean, you're going to have debt left over. 5 minus 20 is negative 15. And of course, you still have your 150 divided by, so then we find our answer, because this is negative 15. And over here, it's all about like terms. Part C is like terms, right? The issues with Part C was people forgot that these are minuses or negatives. That was the issue with Part C. Everything else was pretty individual to you. So that's all the time we got today. If you need to revise that, please revise it. Get it back to me. If you need baby graph paper, baby little graph paper for revisions, baby graph paper's over here. Yeah. Yes, I'll be here. Yep. Yeah, I don't have a class next, actually, so sure. Wait, what? Sorry, what you do that? Because you guys are going to one more class. Yeah, you're going to one more class. What? I need more time than that to look at that, but it looks, the one thing you write down looks right.